So hey guys, we are back with another video, and in this video we are going to talk about the paper, the illusion of thinking. So I think the last 2 weeks have been a very competitive week for all LLM companies because Gemini 2.5 models were getting released. Flashlight came, Flash stable versions came. Then already Sonnet 4, Opus 4 were in the trends, and OpenAI was Sam Altman going to all the podcast and telling that okay, we are close to AGI, and then in between Apple comes and drops a paper that okay, these LLMs are not doing much things. These are just this thinking especially is not helping LLMs. So obviously these companies who have invested so much money and power on these thinking part of LLMs got really upset from that. And Anthropic got so much upset that they released a whole answer paper that okay, what you guys claim is not exactly true. And I'll also agree to some part of this, not full, but yeah, some part, because in that paper I also said that definitely I agree that reasoning is helping, but reasoning will not be the ultimate solution to achieve AGI, right? To achieve AGI level performance of, let's say, the models. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing that has been mentioned, right, is that they actually talk about these three things. The first thing is these Tower of Hanoi experiments, right, systematically exceed model output tokens limit at reported failure points. Second thing they are saying, the author's automated evaluation framework fails to distinguish between reasoning failures and practical constraints. Okay. Third is that river crossing benchmarks include mathematically impossible instances, that is n is equals to 6, greater than 6. Okay, let's talk about them one by one. Okay, so they are saying for the Tower of Hanoi, that consider the following statistical argument, that if we grade Tower of Hanoi solutions character by character without allowing for error correction, the probability for perfection is P all correct, P is T, but P is the per token accuracy and T is the total tokens. Now P raised to your T, where T is 10,000 tokens, so the success will be less than 37%, and the success of 0.999 will be less than 0.005%, right? So this is actually a valid point from their side. And I think outside this, I personally feel wherever we find these patterns, right, that is where the algorithms come into play, that how good a model can write an algorithm to solve these problems, because we already know that these problems can scale, and you can you will keep seeing patterns, and if a person has to do these works manually, or any model also, there is a very high chance they can make mistake. So that is that is why we have the concept of algorithms, right, which can handle these cases by a single block of code. Okay, so the impossible puzzle problem. So they are saying that whenever we have greater than n or equal to 6 actors in this whole boat and boat problem, where the boat capacity b is equal to 3, it is well established that missionary cannibalism puzzle has no solution for greater than n is greater than 5 and b is equal to 3. So by automatically scoring these impossible instances as failure, they have actually sort of degraded the actual results. So let's say out of 10 instances, 3 were like these, right, that you can say that okay, this is impossible to solve, even a human cannot solve, leave LLMs aside. So you can say that okay, it's impossible. So 10 minus 3, that is 7. The previous accuracy, which was let's say coming 30%, will now directly become 50%. There's a high chance, right? So I'm just giving an example, but because there is a very high chance, they will have a lot of cases where n is equals to and less than, or I mean greater than 5, right? There's a high chance. Now this physical token limit drive apparent collapse. So I think this is what I was talking about, that for things where a lot of things were already changing, right? Let's say you can say it has been generating tokens and it sees a pattern. For that particular pattern, how are you going to judge that okay, this is correct, this is not, this is going stable? The model is at a point going to say that okay, it has been going in a pattern, I can skip this, and in skipping that, assuming some things, there's a high chance the model can generate wrong answer. And if the model is not going to solve each thing, then obviously it is sort of the reason is the model has been trained to know that okay, you have a limit of generating tokens, you cannot keep generating these tokens, right? So Given that token budget allotted 64,000 for Claude and for 3.7, and DeepSeek R1 1 lakh, and 1 lakh for O3 mini. Okay, so maximum solvable sizes are 7 to 8, or for Claude 3.7 and DeepSeek R1 7 you can say, and for O3 mini it's 8. So this is what I was talking about, that this reported collapse can happen. I think this particular user, right, on X, they told that when they ran this whole thing on their system, Claude mentioned, I feel the pattern is repeating, I'm not going to compute further, something like that. So when they solve the tower of NOV 15 jigs, output a Lua function that prints the solution when called. The model obviously did correct. They evaluated 3.7 Sonnet, Opus 4, OpenAI O3, Gemini 2.5, all completed under 5,000 tokens. Because as I told you, in these kind of pattern problems, that is the reason we have the concept of algorithms, right, to solve these problems. Now the last thing is the other use compositional depth minimum moves as their complexity metric, but this actually is conflicting with the mechanical execution with problem solving difficulty. So this is, I think, very direct, which they have mentioned. Although I can say Apple may come up with a answer to this paper, and they can say that okay, out of 5 points 3 are valid, 2 are, we can prove them that okay, that this is completely okay. So the future work they should design evaluation that distinguish between reasoning capabilities and output problem. Okay, verify puzzle solvability before evaluating. So you can say this is sort of a slap on Apple's face, that okay, you guys did not even see if these problems are solvable by a AI model or not. Use complexity metrics that reflect computational difficulty. Okay, consider multiple solution representation to separate algorithmic cut. Okay, cool. Now I think we can look at this, right? We know that, and here we go. So if you see, even for n equals to 9 and n equals to 10, 3.7 Sonnet thinking stops stops the reasoning early because it thinks the output is too long. Okay, now if you see here, this thing, the model has mentioned the pattern continues, but to avoid making this too long, I will stop here. Okay, this is what is happening. Even for n equals to 9, n is equals to 10, 3.7 Sonnet stops the reasoning early. So this line gives a lot of pain. I don't have the funds to run this 25 times for all the number of disks, but I think it is fair to say at least some of the accuracy degradation occurs simply because the model decided to stop early. And it makes sense, right? It completely makes sense. That obviously a model is smart enough that okay, why do I need to manually, not manually you can say, but go through the pattern again and again. This is a code sort of thing, right? So they were trained to write codes and use tools, especially Sonnet was trained to keep answers concise. So it completely makes sense that why this is happening, and people like them deserve funds, guys. I would request Claude, if they are watching this video, these independent researchers are the reason we are striving as a community, so let's help them. I'm not only saying this from an emotional point of view, but also as a as a researcher, I want that people who actually want to contribute and debug these things, they can be provided fund by these organizations, maybe somehow through a referral form, and a screening can happen. Okay, so yeah guys, that was it for this video. I hope you guys got to know about this Apple and Anthropic fight. I won't say fight, but you can say a conversation that no one was expecting between these two organizations. Okay, so yeah guys, that was it for the video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you and have a nice day.